Okay, so we took a look at God's teaching in the scriptures and our Lord's teaching about money. You could summarize that for us. How would you summarize that, Lisa? Yeah. God's teaching on money. Okay. Seventh grader want to give it a shot? Tucker, how do we think about money from God's perspective?
Kind of deep into it, but
Okay. Truly, education is grass for the obvious. Okay. Like fire. How's it like fire? The more what? You gonna phone a friend? Okay, Leah? Yeah. So, money is not good nor bad. It is dangerous, though. Okay? The more money you have, the more dangerous you are. Right? If one lion is dangerous, 15 lions is more dangerous. Right? Especially if that lion is Aiden Hutchinson. Okay. So, one of the other ways that we didn't, before we go any further, does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns about this teaching on money? So, how does this impact, like, how do you figure out your future line of deployment? Should this commandment impact what you're going to do for your living in the future?
Yeah.
How so?
you shouldn't be in the IRS.
Okay. Well, I totally agree with you that taxation is, by definition, theft. The Internal Revenue Service, they're the people that collect and count your taxes. They're the people that say, you've got to pay taxes, and then when you ask them how much, they say, well, we know what it is, but we're not going to tell you, and if you pay the wrong thing, we're going to send you to jail. That's the American tax code. Stupid. Cody, how?
Because if you have too much money, you can agree with what it's talking about.
Okay, how do most people, kids especially, think about the kind of job they want in the future?
More than it makes a lot of money.
Why do they want a lot of money? What do those things mean? Okay. I don't know. I have money so people leave me alone. But then again, I've always been that way.
If you show off.
Yeah. So, should the amount of money that will make it a given job influence why we want to do that job? Should it at all?
I mean, maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit, right? Right, because you do want to make enough that you're actually able to take care of your needs and your family's needs. Right, but again, we want to focus on what's a need versus what's a want. Like air conditioning.
That's a need. That's a need. That's definitely. No, that's a want. That's a need. That's a need.
Well, you don't use your air conditioning when it's cold, man.
But you have to have a heating system.
You do, right. Air conditioning is not a heating system.
What do you do during the summer when it's like 105 outside?
You go
There are still lots of people today.
They don't have air
You go in a swimming pool, you cry,
You
or
try.
you get over it. $5.
There you go. So yeah, we don't want jobs that are going to pay us nothing, right? But the importance of the value of the job doesn't lie solely in how much we're going to get paid. Okay. You guys want to guess? This is kind of off not off topic, but you guys want to guess the only sector, we'll call it industry, the only industry, service, whatever you will, that has never suffered a recession.
What's the reason?
So what's a recession?
Whenever you don't make the money is on time and it doesn't.
Yeah, so like if a section of businesses, like, they stop making money and they aren't selling as much. There is one business that has never, ever, since it's been a thing, gone down.
How old is it?
Apple,
Is it Sam's?
Apple,
Walmart?
Nope.
Windows,
McDonald's?
Nope.
That's a pretty.
Chick-fil-A.
Taco Bell. Oh,
Self-storage units.
what is that? Yeah. Oh,
Why might that be?
need stores.
I mean-
Yeah, right. People have a lot of junk, and they're like, I don't have enough. Right. They're driving around their car, and they say, I've got too much junk in my trunk. Right. I'm glad that some of you still know what that saying is. So, people are always buying way more than they actually need or have space for. And for that reason, storage units, right, they're everywhere. If you just look around for them, they're literally everywhere. Right, there's even some in town here. That never suffered a recession, which tells you that people are continuing to buy more stuff. Right? Why is that so? Why is that such a problem in America? Well, I mean, the problem is, why do we have too much junk?
Because we just keep buying stuff.
Why do we keep buying stuff?
Because we think we need more.
Okay, so we have too much money.
You don't need it, you give it
What?
away.
I mean,
Influencers could be is a big part of it because that touches with something larger, which is advertising. We get blitzed with advertising all the time. We'll talk more about that with the Ninth Commandment and how that breeds discontentment. But right, so we are not to hoard stuff for ourselves. What are we supposed to do with our possessions?
Give it away.
So what we're supposed to do with our money. What should we do with our possessions?
Sell it and get money and then give the money back to them.
That's what Jesus says. He says, sell your possessions to give the money to the poor.
kind of like Robin.
Right? But you're robbing from
Robin Hood
yourself
stole.
and giving it to the poor, right? So was Robin Hood a good man?
Yes.
No!
No.
What commandment was he breaking?
The book was pretty good.
And?
I would just.
What other commandment?
Oh, the fifth one, because he murdered people.
And?
Respecting his father and mother.
There's another one. We got fourth, fifth, and seventh. And depending on the marital status of Maid Marian, she was a maid, so she would have been married yet. Maybe the sixth commandment as well. So yeah, Robin Hood. I wouldn't look up to him very well. Unless it's Kevin Costner, and then he's the best.
Yeah.
If you're in the book, I feel you're pretty.
Hitler's in a book. Does that make him special? Okay. No more coughing. You hold that in. That was the closest you've come to rolling your eyes at me this year. It came close.
She rolls her eyes and everything.
She doesn't roll her eyes at me. That's Lauren's job. Wait for it. Oh, I thought she was going to do it. Okay. So we are supposed to use our possessions to help people. So if somebody, for instance, if you have a car and someone needs a ride,
You pick them up.
you give them a ride. Right? What if they say, hey, can I borrow your car?
Yeah, you give them your car.
You let them borrow your car.
What if they?
Right? What if they, I mean,
What if they're like on the side of the road?
what if they don't?
Give them a
Is God still
ride.
going to take care of you if they don't?
Yeah.
So the question is, are you going to trust that God's going to care for you if you actually follow His commandments?
Yeah.
Right? Is it always going to look like you having everything that you want and living the Mr. Beast life?
Oh my God.
Right? You guys know who that is still?
Yeah.
I've never watched a video, but I don't know. I just know he's insanely wealthy and makes stupid videos. There's an eye roll. Nice. We're gonna do a tally of how many times girls give me eye rolls in class. I'm convinced gals do it way more than guys.
I forgot how to eye roll.
You just like,
When I try to eye roll, I just end up blinking.
I call that the great white. What, eye rolls? You know what great whites do when they attack? They roll their eyes back into their skull. You know why?
So they cannot see their victim's eyes.
No, it's so that they will get their eyes poked.
Oh, they can still get their eyes closed.
Well, they have to go in really deep.
like in
Right? No, like if you look at a great white when it's attacking, like its eyes are, there's nothing in the sockets because they roll all the way back into their heads.
So their eyes are just
They're
like,
designed that way. Maybe they do.
Like in the Meg,
their eyes are
like,
just sitting in
you
the
get
brain.
attacked and then you just got
Pops out.
Wait, does that mean they can see their own brain?
It's probably pretty dark in there, dude. Okay, so we should use our possessions to bless other people. So whether those cars or clothes, we should use our money to help other people. Okay. That one other way of stealing that we didn't talk about. So we'll need to write some of this stuff down. What do you want to say? Use your stuff to help others. Right? Stuff in the most general sense. Food, clothing, cars. Hard to make that case for Xboxes. But again, I think there has to be some room for recreation. Recreation is a very important thing. We need to have things that bring us joy. Anyone ever seen the movie The Shining?
Yes.
All work and no play makes Jack a noble boy. All work and no play makes Jack a noble boy. Shining, it's a Stephen King novel that got turned into a movie with Jack Nicholson from like the 70s. Have you ever seen the picture of Jack Nicholson looking through a door with that's from The Shining. Red Rum, that's also from The Shining. He's a writer who goes insane and tries to murder his family. It's basically the plot of the movie. And that's what, no, it's a Stephen King novel. So, right, basically use your stuff to help others. Another way of stealing that we didn't talk about, because it doesn't really impact you, but it affects people that are like own businesses or sell stuff. You can also steal from people if you are selling crap. Okay, so if you're selling people things that are just useless garbage that no one actually needs, or is just like a piece of garbage. Like most of the things you can buy breaks really fast.
What happens?
Doesn't actually do what it.
What happens if you start your own business and you sell them something and it ends up they break it and want to take it back to the store but they don't have the receipt? Is that stealing?
Depends on the store.
No, like say you work at Dollar General and they have this jar of salsa. They're walking out,
Jar
their
of
bag just snaps and it shatters and her receipt's gone.
That's the fault.
And it like blows off in the wind.
So that depends. Can you?
Yeah.
No. You have to follow the policies of the company.
But what if we buy another thing of salsa and give it to them?
Well, that wouldn't be stealing at all. That would just be buying another jar of salsa.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, if you bought it and you've left the store, then at that point the store is no longer responsible for what happened to it. There's going to be stores like Walmart. They'll take anything back. You don't have to have a receipt. You don't even need a driver's license. I don't need one. Yeah, right, basically.
We talked about salsa.
You can never talk about salsa too much. By the way, I went to Habaneros a couple nights ago. Their salsa is the best. Hands down.
Hey, we're gonna take a field trip.
Yeah, we're going
You let me know when we go. I'll drive.
Alright.
Oh, you can drive the bus.
Yeah, you can drive the bus. You can be our bus driver.
Yeah.
I dig it. Okay. We'll do the 7th and 8th grade field trip to Carthage, Missouri.
Yeah.
And just go to Habaneros, and then we go wander around the park.
And then go
We're
bowling.
gonna go
We're
bowling.
going.
No, we're gonna go to the Rock Museum, then to Habanero, then we're gonna go bowling.
Then we go to Walmart's.
Walmarts.
You ever heard anybody say that?
No.
I wanna
There's
go to
people
Walmart.
around here that call it
Oh my
Walmarts.
gosh, I saw this video.
I play basketball.
All right, so back at it. So shoddy merchandise, that kind of thing, being shady in your business deals, that would be that kind of thing.
What happens if you're selling something good out of the back of the van? But it's actually a good idea.
That's really specific. I think you're okay. Well, where did you get this iPhone?
From iPhone.
All right,
The
we're gonna
store
move
with the
on.
big apple.
That's called Apple, dude.
Apple, what the heck am I saying?
Nobody knows. Okay. So, but we help our neighbor, so this is the positive side, we help our neighbor to improve and protect his possessions and income. Okay? So what does that mean? To help him improve and protect his possessions and income.
Make them better.
Okay? Give me some examples of what that might look
Give
like.
him some money for
Give him a job that pays higher than his current one. So
Give him a ride so he
And then
doesn't have to
also
spend
give
money
him
on
a
gas.
Right? So actually, giving people jobs is a helpful thing. What else?
Give him a
Give
ride.
him
How
money so
much-
he can take his wife out on a date.
Okay, so that's kind of more
No,
six.
to go eat dinner.
That's more Sixth Commandment stuff. Like I'm looking at, right? So that would be helping them cherish each other
Yeah,
and right, the one flesh intimacy.
yeah.
Right? How do you remember with the Sixth Commandment? Kind of that one flesh union is what everything is all about, and we want to cultivate. That's the word I was looking for last night. Cultivate that one flesh intimacy. Right? How do we do that? If a couple's too poor to go out to eat, so here's a gift card to Habaneros, and here's gas money.
Do they even make those?
Right? Yes, I've gotten several $100s of Habaneros gift cards for them this Christmas.
Really?
It's a gift that keeps on giving. Oh no. Yeah. So I have four brothers, sorry, I'm the fifth. Four brothers, and my parents gave me a card a couple of years ago that said, "You're the best son." I kept that one, and I may have took pictures of it and sent it to my brothers. It's like, we all knew it. Mom and Dad just wanted to confirm it. No, actually, the best son isn't me, it's my brother Joel. So,
You gotta put it in a picture frame, right as they walk in the door, they see it instantly.
yeah, everybody likes Joel. He's never done anything wrong. He's the much taller one than I am. He's 6'8".
7 foot.
6'8". Yeah, multiple times.
2020?
Are you like 6'4"?
I'm 6'4", yeah. They were all my brothers. Kristen's brother didn't make it down. Kristen, this is weird to say because I think my wife's beautiful, but her brother looks a lot like her with a beard. So there's a very strong family resemblance.
Would your brother be able to walk in that door without hitting his head?
He ducks whenever he goes
But,
through a door.
what if he's like, bam, would it hit him?
Yes, Johnny.
I don't know. I don't know how tall that door frame
Does
is.
it hit you in the head?
No.
Like, you can walk straight up.
That
tall
door's
through it.
like probably 6'5", because he barely gets underneath it.
Yeah, you barely.
It's probably, it's not that short. Okay, so back to the seventh commandment.
Let's go stand by.
No, help him to improve his. This is not a very good class today. So you're in protecting his possessions. Okay, so if you find a wallet on the ground, what do?
You go
Take
give
it.
it
See,
to somebody.
driver's license.
Right? You go, finders keepers, sucker.
No.
Okay, right.
Yeah. I wouldn't put it lost and found. I would open it up, see what the.
What?
And this is the cool thing. This is the cool thing. My boys found somebody's wallet at Muncie's, and they picked it up, and we opened it up, knew who it was, and the guy gave like both the boys like $50 because he was so happy that they returned it to him. So So a lot of times, well, you know, truth be told, like our kids can't go to the store without people giving them money for whatever reason. And especially Corey anymore. People like said, "Here's $1, you're cute." So it pays to be good looking, I guess. Wouldn't know.
My dad saw we were watching church. He saw it up there. He's like, "You should have squeezed her."
She is. It's very squeezable. So, like, if you like see your neighbor's windows down on their car, what do? In the windows,
You throw about three
you know, it's
$100
raining.
in there, and then you roll their window up.
right? You go find them if it's locked or something like that. The keys aren't in.
If you see a dog.
Their house is on fire. You say, "Well, not my house."
You go, you run to the fire department, get the truck, and then just.
No, you
This
break
is
Okay.
the fire hydrant and
Oh,
then
that's stealing the fire on.
So all those sorts of things. It's basically like, what if your neighbor has a house that has gutters that are full of gumballs and other
You climb
debris
on top of their
that
house.
they're too old to climb up themselves?
You throw them up
Bring
there.
You
it
have fun. You say, "Hey, $10 an hour, lady."
No,
What do you
do it.
You just do
Without
it.
even knowing.
Right? So that's seventh commandment stuff right there. That's what that's talking about.
Hey, I would, if I want to tell them first
Right.
before the old man comes out.
That's what we did at when I played football. We did that. The whole football team in the spring would like attack Seward, Nebraska, and every old woman's house, their yard would be immaculate after we were down there. It was just volunteerism, but we would get money a lot of times, which was really nice because we were really poor, and I would sell plasma in order to make money. The liquid part of your blood. You can donate it, and they give you money for it. Well, not donate it, you sell it. Out of a van,
A white van.
a white van, down by a river.
Such freaky.
So yeah, that's the kind of stuff that we do with the seventh commandment. We use our time, we use our energy to make sure everyone else's stuff is taken care of. So like, a good example of this is you're walking around here, right,
Like in the school.
in the school, and you see, you know, stuff on the ground, pencils, books,
Pick them up.
Uh,
throw them in your locker.
right? You pick them up, right? If there's a spill on the ground, what do?
Clean it
Yeah,
up.
Clean it
clean
up,
it
right?
up.
Because what could happen?
Somebody could slip in it and
Right.
crack their head.
Right, there's a bunch of lights turned on.
You turn them
Well,
on.
I don't think our lights are off the lights.
Well, I mean, like, if there's nobody in the room, dude.
What about the hallway light?
My mom will just go by and turn off all the lights on that.
Yeah, I am, in a lot of ways, the dad of this congregation, because I'm always walking around this building, turning off lights and adjusting thermostats to appropriate levels.
Thank you, because sometimes it's ridiculously cold.
Okay. So, obviously with this, possessions, money, they're not the problem, right? Because if they were bad in and of themselves, Jesus would not have ever said, don't, well, he never would have said, give your money to the poor. Does that make sense? So if money were evil, he wouldn't have told us to give money to the poor.
So money's not evil.
It can't be.
Right? Is fire evil?
Yes.
No!
Oh, well, it hurts.
It's dangerous. It's not evil. Right? Remember, fire can be used for a lot of good purposes. Cooking,
So like
warmth, light. Right?
warding off lions and things.
Exactly. That's what we were talking about. In the same way, money can be used for good purposes. We can take care of our own physical needs and bless others. Okay?
So,
We'll talk about this when we get to the table of duties, but I want to hit on it too. One of the other things that we need to do as well is with the use of our money is, this is something called tithing.
timing,
Tithing.
tithing,
Okay, does anyone know what tithing is?
is that whenever it's the offering?
Yeah. Give to the church. So there's an aspect of this, and I'm not going to get into the whole scriptural teaching on it, but we have income, right? You will have income at some point. We are supposed to give a certain possession, a certain percentage of that to the church for the church's functioning. Right? And this goes to pay people's salaries, keep the lights and electricity on. Right?
Does the church
So
have
that-
to use lights?
Pays for our insurance, right, for building insurance, that kind of stuff. Other bills that we have. Enables us to do the work of the church. Okay, so how does that, where does the church get its money? Is from its members. Okay, so what God wants us to do with our money is to give a certain portion of it to the church. In the Old Testament, it was 10%. So 10% of your income in the Old Testament was supposed to go to the church, go to the temple. It's above and beyond that now in the New Testament. There's no set amount, but you are free to give more than 10% of your income to the church.
Is that like any time?
So whenever you get income, do 10%. So I get paid monthly, but we give weekly. So Chris and I have decided ahead of time what we're going to give every week, and it's above 10% of our income. And the reason why we do it weekly is because we think it's important for our children to see us putting offering in every single week. So that is the way in which the church can continue to do its work. Right? God doesn't need the money, but like your congregation where you worship at does. So this is not like we need to make sure we're clear on this. Jesus is not, or the teaching is not 10% to the church and then 90% for me. Okay, it's 10% to the church, and then I take care of my needs, but I also am generous with that other 90%. Okay, that's more of the scriptural teaching. So we don't. Sometimes we can think, well, I give 10%, so I don't need to be generous with anything more. Now the idea is, as a Christian, 10% goes to the church, and then we are still generous to the poor and care for them, etc. Are you welcome to church if you don't give any money?
Yeah.
Right? Are you saved if you don't give any money?
Yeah.
Does Jesus love you if you don't give any money?
Yeah.
Right? Should you give money to the
Yeah.
church? Yeah. Why?
So they can
That's one aspect. Keep going. What else?
so they can pay the electricity bill.
Well, I mean, that would be to keep going.
So they can pay the heating bill, so when you're there,
Another-
you don't get the current bill.
Another aspect would be, it's actually good for you. Remember, why does God command what he does?
For our own good.
For our own good. So there's something that's incredibly important and good for you that happens when you actually give a sizable chunk of your income away, is that it keeps you from loving money too much. Okay, so when you give it away, you're like, okay, God, you do with this what you want. And that what that does is it decreases money's importance in your own heart and mind. Because if you really thought money was important, you keep it all to yourself. And there's another aspect of it as well. Right? So we've got for the work of the church, for our own benefit. And what else did we say? I had it and it just left me. I didn't get enough sleep last night, so my brain's not firing on all cylinders. So let's just go with those two. Okay? That's good enough. Right? So giving money to others, giving our possession to others, and that's true of giving to church or just to charitable organizations, is good for us because it lessens our love of money. And as we'll see in our memory work, the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. So let's flip open that Bible passage and take a look at it and study it a little bit. So let's go to 1 Timothy 6:10.
Wait, what?
Hey there, man.
Wait, what? Can you say the chapter?
Leah was, I didn't know he was supposed to
No,
be
this
there.
is okay.
Was he in there first?
We both did, and it was time.
It wasn't a tie?
No, I don't know.
Well, why did you say it was if you didn't know?
What is it?
That's lying.
I
You
raised
trying
my
to
hand.
steal my candy, son?
I raised my hand a little bit.
Trying to steal my candy?
Sorry, what is it? What's it?
1 Timothy 6:10. Hello, Mr. Johnson.
How are you today?
Good.
What can we do for you?
Did you just email me?
No.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
Okay.
Thank you.
I've been up here for the last hour. Okay, so 1 Timothy 6:10.
First Timothy.
I'd love a volunteer to read that for us. Peyton, are you awake enough to read it today? Okay. So we got the love of money. Okay, so when it says love of money, what's that talking about?
Worth money.
Tell me more.
You like to buy
Just
things.
like the idea of having more.
Right, you like the idea of having lots of money. And it's not necessarily buying things. There are some people that honestly just love having money. They don't even buy stuff with it.
So they just want to keep it.
They probably invest it,
So they can have more money.
like Scrooge McDuck. You guys know who Scrooge McDuck is?
That would
Okay.
hurt really bad.
So, the love of money, so liking money, whether it's to what money can buy or just money in and of itself, is a root of all kinds of evil. So, is the love of money evil? Yeah, it is. But what is its relationship? Right? Is the love of money the root of all evil? What is it when it says root? What does that mean?
The start of the
Right, with a tree, right, the roots grow first. You don't get the trunk and then the roots. What would happen then?
The trunk would follow.
Right, you gotta have a good root system first. So all plants, right, they put out roots first before they put out anything else. So in the same way, from that comes up all kinds of evils. Okay, when it talks about evils, what does that mean? Yeah. That's what it means. But what give me examples of it. Right. That's a big part of it. So evil that you yourself will commit. What else could it mean? What else could it be? I think this is that second half of the verse. It is through this craving, right, that's the love of money, that some have wandered away from the faith. Okay, so what's the evil that's happened to that person? Right, they've lost their faith. That's a bad thing, right? That's an evil thing to happen to you. You lose your faith. Okay? And have pierced themselves with many pangs. What's a pang?
It's that like one rip thing and you drew picture.
No.
A steak?
A what?
A steak?
No. Go ahead.
Like hunger or something.
So we've talked about hunger pangs. You guys know what a hunger pang is?
No.
It's when you get that sharp pain in your gut when you're really, really hungry.
Oh.
Okay? So pang is pain. Right? You've pierced yourselves with many pains. So the idea is, if you love money, you're inviting all sorts of hardship into your lives. Now, we often think the opposite. Right? We think, oh man, if I just had enough money, my life would be way better. I wouldn't have nearly as many problems if I just had money. But St. Paul here says the exact opposite, that if we have lots of money, if we constantly crave after it, we're actually going to end up creating problems for ourselves. Let me just give you an example. People who have like big campers. You ever heard someone with a big camper complain or talk about how they don't use it enough?
Yeah.
Right? So they're kind of like anxious and worried, frustrated that they don't use their camper enough for all the money that they spend on it. You know what a great way to avoid that is? Go buy a camper. Right? People with boats do the same thing. Oh, I don't use my boat enough.
My own.
Oh, right? You don't have to complain about it if you don't have a boat. People will often complain about the economy and how their retirement accounts are doing. Maybe your parents. The economy's always going to be there. The question is how much money do you have wrapped up into the economy? Right? If you don't have retirement accounts, you don't have to worry about that. Now, I'm not saying retirement accounts are evil or bad. I'm just saying, like, when you add stuff to your life, TVs, video games, campers, clothes, different investments, you're inviting into your life difficulties that need not be there, that can be a lot simpler. So, again, with the seventh commandment, what's it all about?
Don't take the not to lose.
It's a big part of it, but again, money and possessions are not bad, but they are dangerous. So don't get more than you need and use what you have for other people's good. Does that make sense? Okay. We'll cruise on with the 8th commandment tomorrow, I think. I'm probably going to have Vicar come in and teach tomorrow because I'm not going to be available to teach. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll say it to him. He has dark hair and more hair.
Wait, does he have
And about 15 years younger.